Sounds straight.
Welcome to South End Supporters of St. Louis City SC podcast. Eric Cole alongside the Monday Morning center back Dave Wyckoff. And on this episode, we'll be talking about City dropping once again at home to Seattle with a 1-0 loss. Later on in the show, we'll also get into some South End submissions. But unfortunately, we're going to start this one off on kind of a sad note, as I believe it'll be Monday for you guys when this comes out. But yesterday morning, as the team announced that Lowen's wife, Ilona, unfortunately lost her 2-year battle with brain cancer. And, man, I mean, we kind of, obviously knew Edu being out. I believe he left early in training camp as well. I think he came home early from that, and then obviously hasn't been training with the team, hasn't featured in any of the matches. And I remember the press conference, he came out and basically said, which, again, I want to commend Lowen not only with the announcement of her having the diagnosis, but in the follow-up, he doesn't have to do this stuff. He could have just kept everything in-house, but he even said he felt like he owed it to the fans, which he obviously owed us nothing. But he came out and basically said, if the team doesn't put out that I'm a medical scratch, you kind of know what's going on. And so here lately, just, kind of an unfortunate feeling with him not being around. And then, to find out the news, it's just, it's terrible. It's just one of those unfortunate reminders of just how fragile life is and everything like that. So, it's terrible. The dude has tried fighting through and being there for the team and still being there. And I can't imagine doing that while everything is going on. And then now, not only, going through everything he's going, but also being away from home, both his and his wife's family. I don't know if they came into, St. Louis or anything like that, but it's just such a sad deal. Obviously, our thoughts and prayers go out with Edu, his family, his wife's family, just anybody close to his wife, and just the situation that's going on. And it's just such a bummer deal. And I hope the fans can rally around. I've seen a couple things that have been kind of put out there. Dave, one thing I saw that you put out is just a minimum, and I kind of like this little tradition. We've seen it with Liverpool at the 19th minute. I think Wolves did it at the 20th minute because that was the number that Diogo Jota wear. But just at the 10th minute, just a standing ovation for a minute or something like that to just show the support. I like that Liverpool has done that all year. I would like to see City's fans as well do it all year. I think it's also been great that teams around the league as well as teams internationally have reached out and, offered their condolences. But, just a bummer thing that's came to light,
Yeah, this is one of those unimaginable nightmare scenarios if you're attached to anybody, right? That they would get this diagnosis and then cancer being the force that it is, and so many people have fought and ended up succumbing to cancer, to different types of cancers. I think it was Stuart Scott that said you don't lose to cancer, you fight it, and you don't lose because of that fight. And I thought that was a very profound thing that he said, somebody eventually who lost his life to cancer too. So it's a nightmare scenario for Edu, I'm sure. But at this point, you've got to think on the side of she's not suffering with it anymore. And if you're somebody that has a spiritual side to you, then you hope that she's found peace. And now you hope that Edu can. And I don't, like you said, he doesn't have any. He doesn't owe anybody anything as far as explanations or, justification or why he wouldn't be anywhere at any given time. That's the game. The game is big. Football is big, but it's not any bigger than life. And like I said, like you said, I feel very fortunate that he, opened the window to this to a bunch of people that he doesn't know, a bunch of fans. And Yeah, I would love to see the standing go in the 10th minute. I think that's, you know, it's it's neutral, it's simple, it's easy for everybody to do and recognize what's going on. So I don't know if the team will do something or whatever, but yeah, just a tough time. And these are the times when, as people and as a sporting community and as a region, city, whatever you want to have, like you really, we really owe it to each other to kind of, you know, rally around it. You know what I mean? Like make it worth, make the fact that the two of them had to go through that, make it not seem insignificant, in whatever way that is, whether that's wearing your Leuven jersey or doing a standing O or, donating to cancer or whatever. Don't make it be in vain. Don't make that loss be in vain. So, yeah, there's really no good way to transition out of that. It's just a really, really sad outcome. And unfortunately, one that many people have had to go through. So,
Yeah. I think I think there's a few things being tossed around. I think it'll be more through the supporter groups or just people coming around. There's been card stunts thrown around, posters, everybody making their own posters. No Goal Patrol. They came out with I think it was last year, or a couple years ago, some gray towels that were, had the cancer symbol on it with Leuven. There's just a lot of things, but like you said, just one thing that he has talked about that meant a lot to him and his family was the way that the city and the fans really did show their care and appreciation for him and his family. And one thing that city has done, they put out, I believe it was this morning, they said if you would like to share your support with Edu and the Leuven family, please send any messages to allforedu@stlouiscitysc.com, or I believe this is a mailing address that you can mail in like letters at 218 South 22nd Street, St. Louis, Missouri 63103. So, I think that'd be great for everybody to at least make a start. It's just, whatever it may be, something little, just writing him in and let him know that this fan base is behind him and his family, and whatever he needs, this fan base will be behind him and this team will be behind him. So yeah, unfortunately, like you said, it's really sad that unfortunately she did lose her battle, but they were very spiritual family, so hopefully there's some I don't know the proper word, but knowing
yeah,
that
I hope they
hopefully
can
she's
find
in a
some
better place.
solace. Yeah,
Solace,
some
yes, yeah,
solace in, whatever they believe in terms of an afterlife. And again, I'll throw this out here without getting too deep into it. You don't have to share all of somebody's beliefs to recognize and respect their grief. And I
yes,
think that's what's most important right now. Like this, there's way too much bad shit in this world in 2026 to be to not recognize someone else's pain or to play it off as something that's maybe try to act like we can't relate to it. Like let's be
hmm
people. Let's be humans. Let's what does Jerry say? What does our friend Jerry say? Be good, do good. Like that's
yes,
that's just being a
yep,
good person. Yeah.
yep,
So shout out
exactly.
Jerry.
So shout out Jerry, and again, our condolences for Edu, the entire Leuven family. Our thoughts and prayers are with them. So we will try and transition out of that. Unfortunately, it's still not the greatest news as City, like we said, Saturday night dropped 1-0 at home to Seattle. Just a, I don't know. We haven't really talked much about it, but just a very uninspiring performance, if you ask me. It was just very, I don't know. To me, just it felt like few players were very off on the night. There were some shining moments throughout the night that we hopefully can build on and look at a positive. Felt like there were some misses as far as opportunities that the way the game could have played out. It's all easy money back Monday morning center backing, as we like to say here. But what were your thoughts, just on the game in general? Like, you can break it in halves, you can break it into a whole. But what did you think about the game Saturday night?
Yeah, I kept waiting for them to kick on, and they just never did. That's kind of their game in a nutshell to me. Like, yeah, there were chances, but you know, as much as we love the XG stat, like a .66 XG is kind of indicative of the effort here. And I don't know, I missed the first half of the game. We were in Kansas. Zoe had a game in Kansas on Saturday and then a game in Lee Summit on Sunday. So I missed the first half of the game. It was a night game, and I got to watch the second half on my phone. And again, I just kept waiting for them to kick on, and it just never happened. And I don't know. I don't know if that's like system adjustment. I don't know if it's still a function of not having the proper personnel out there to, fit the vision. I do know that there are two offensive minded signings that played a big part in this game that really didn't light any fire in anybody. I will say it's a little different. Like, okay, first of all, obviously, Santos is had a rough start to city life, right? Like, left back kind of looks like he's out of shape a little bit, like not really sure what he should do from that left side. But,
Yeah.
Seeing as he came in and his reputation was somebody that could run that wing and whip crosses in, I haven't seen that yet. In fact, he's a lot more likely to, trail the ball or play it square than he is to challenge somebody down the line. And he wasn't the only one today. He wasn't the only one on Saturday. Like Conrad Wallem, I don't understand it. I don't understand what, like you tell me, and you can eventually, what sort of tactics they have when you have two wingers that just are either being coached or refuse to try to challenge the inline. And I know that Nuhu is a good left back, but you have to challenge him at some point. Like, you have to try to take the inline from him. You cannot constantly let him funnel you back to the real strength of that Seattle team, which is their midfield, and funnel it back to your lesser passers, your center backs and your two defensive center mids. So, I haven't been impressed with Santos. So Sergio Cordova got in this game, which was great to see. I think he came in when he came in at 57. But
Pretty early.
after he came in, I don't recall a moment where he was a difference maker. And I know that they said that he is going to garner a lot of attention because he's got that ability, coming from young boys team in Europe. But I mean, I don't know. I'm looking at his stats. He played 33 minutes. He was 6 of 9 in passing. He created no chances. He had no shots. He had 2 touches in the opposition box. He had 13 touches total in 13 minutes. I don't know. Maybe he has had enough time in training, but these are supposed to be difference-making players, and they're not making a difference. And at the same time, the fan base is noticing that there's a very familiar figure that has not featured as a starter. Has he featured at all yet, Celio? Has he been in any of the 3 games? I feel like he's made one late sub appearance, but
Sub appearance.
you have a player like that who can open up a defense, and he never comes on. And this is now the 5th coaching staff that he apparently can't crack the starting lineup for. So it was just frustrating. Let's just put it that way. It was just a very frustrating night. It felt like Seattle was there for the taking. They have a lot of injuries. They didn't look really all that great themselves, but they're still really well coached. And they've got enough between the Roldans and the Nuhus of the world to get the job done. I am a huge fan of Brian Schmetzer. Like, I think Brian Schmetzer is one of the best managers in MLS. I think he does more with less than just about anybody on any given night.
Yeah.
So it was just frustrating, very very frustrating, and getting that old familiar feeling. It's like, all right, you got 3 games into the season, you've got 1 point from three. You got LAFC next week, and then what? Like, when is the cavalry coming? And I don't know, man. It's that first week feeling that we were feeling real optimistic about that game and how they played against Charlotte. It's starting to feel more like a distant memory.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Couple points that you hit on that I want to touch on, but I'll break it into positives and negatives. Unfortunately, I'll start with the positives, and there wasn't much. The only positive I was kind of seeing throughout the night was Toitra coming back, and when he found the ball in open space, that was where I felt our most dangerous. When we could get that outlet to him quick and he could break through the middle of the park. I think, they had him starting out wide, but where I really truly felt he was his best on the night was when he would drift inside, Betcher would kind of spring outside, Hartle's already out there, and he would receive in space and then run at them. Unfortunately, the end product just wasn't there, but that really seemed to be, our what, at least in the first half, especially where we were driving a lot of our force from. It was always usually the second or third ball that was off that would miss our opportunities, and there really weren't very many opportunities on the night. I know he had a couple shots that were on goal, more from distance or bad angles that were never really going to be challenging, and then it was just a couple just like bounces in the box that just weren't really going to amount to anything dangerous. So yeah, as far as XG, if we want to get into that, not very high. So I mean, that was about the only real big performance on the night. The other thing, we'll go into like the distribution, the crosses on the night were just so floated. I mean, and I can't think of the name of their center back, but I know he's like 6'5". You can't have floated crosses like that when they have a towering physical center back. Like, and when your target is Betch, who's not exactly the biggest aerial threat, we'll say.
Yeah.
So like, I just felt like the times that we did get it out wide and they did put it across, it just was either real floated or it hit the first defender and was cleared out. And I'm glad you noticed that, especially from our seats on the south end. It was glaringly to that wing, when they would take them end line, it was when it would work out and we would get chances, or we would develop a corner because they'd get around them, and it was just working on the night, but they never went to. It was just like they kept second guessing. And I don't know if this is Santos with being such out of shape. He was just so nervous to drive that end line, knowing that he would have to track back if he lost it. But there were like a few times that he did. You'd see a little Brazilian flare come out with a little back heel that worked out. And one time he broke down end line, and we got a corner or we got a cross into the box. And then they just like never went back to that. And Wallum, I know everybody was harping on him with the goal. It looked like he was just in between on whether he wanted to pass or where he wanted to pass. Didn't want to pass too hard. It's still a mistake in the box, and that's the type of stuff you can't have against a team that will show that if you give them space and make a mistake in your own end, they will catch you off guard. But it did suck because, like you said, I didn't feel overly threatened by Seattle throughout the night. What they did fantastically was they got back and they got all men behind the ball. And they knew that would stump us. And then we just, like you said, get it back, circle it around. But we'd circle around so slow, and there was just no creative runs happening to where it was like, oh, we'll catch them off guard this time with the quick in pass through. It was just it looked very easy. I mean, from an outside perspective, it looked very easy to defend on the night. Let's just get everybody back, crowd the box. They're not going to take us. They'll work it back around. Eventually, they'll try and put in a bad cross. We'll get it out. We'll push everybody up. They did pretty much what we did against Charlotte week 1. They got everybody back. They held their shape really good. And then on clearances, they got out quick. And that was their real main line of offense. I know Berkey came up with, 2 really good saves on the night. But, I mean, I didn't feel like Seattle was really taking it to us. And with that, I guess my frustration with the subs was, I mean, Cordova made sense, but with his big body, like, he looks a lot bigger in person than I was anticipating. I didn't understand why they still ran Betch up high and then had Cordova playing kind of the outside attack. Like, have Betch switch. Betch has played out wide a little bit more. And if anything, like, you want that big body presence, especially when they have such a towering physical center back. Put another big body on that and let them have something to think about as far as those crosses into the box go. and having him on wide. I'm not 100% familiar if he prefers being out, but he didn't show me something that was like, yeah, he needs to be out wide in space
Yeah.
and working. I felt like they should have just moved him to the center. And then on that, nothing against Sangbin. This game just didn't call for a Sangbin substitution. He's not, to me, he hasn't shown me anything that shows that he is great in one-on-one, taking guys on. This game, to me, was calling out for a Celio. Like that one-on-one, get end line and try and make something happen. Be
Yeah.
a little selfish at time when nothing is being produced. And the worry with that, and there must be something in training that is just not clicking with DeMay, between Celio and this type of stuff. But you're just kind of like, man, like this was a game that really you're not overly threatened by a team. They're just kind of clearing it out and hoping to catch something on. There's so much, like I went there with my brother that night, and there was just so much space on the wings to be had as far as get it out to him quick and let him do it. I don't know if, I mean, somebody had to be telling him like this information. I know it was the opposite side of the field, but I just didn't feel like Sangbin was the one. And then, only using what I believe 2 subs. You have so many more subs. Like, let's try and find something. And not that I ever think that you should pick players by what the fans are thinking or fan favorites or anything like that. But what I started noticing as that second half kept going on is people starting to sit. It getting a little quieter. Why not just find something to like, hey, let's bring the energy back up? And who does that more than anybody really on this team? They and Celio. And when hey, this could work in this game, that we're not overly getting, committed. Like we're covering enough for him to not be so exposed with those defensive responsibilities. Like let's put him out there, and it's calling for, hey, we're seeing some success getting on the end line. He does that well. If not, he cuts it back and let one go. Like we just start trying some stuff because it just started feeling a little bit too eerily familiar to Olaf ball, where it's like this is too passive. Let's get aggressive. We are at home, and we're starting to see like things slip a little. Like why not just start throwing things at the wall and see what sticks? It's still early enough in the season to where if it does stick, hey, maybe we can fix this and run with it. And I'm not ever saying you should reward not training and that type of stuff, but at some point you got to start looking out for your job. And if this is something that you can see in there, or even, Mekhi Joyner, I mean, he's shown glimpses of taking people on. Even if, and I know it's a tough spot too, because out on that left is where Hartle's been playing, but I think Hartle would adjust just as fine going out to the right, because he's more looking for crosses into the box and distribution than he is looked at, I feel like, cutting back in and having one go. Like, why not put Joyner out on that left? He's shown that he has such a strong left foot. He can cut in and have one. I just felt like there were better offensive opportunities, and at some point I feel like you're going to have to go for it. You're going to have to just try, no matter what the opponent is, because we've seen it, in the past. You get too far behind early on, and especially with a big World Cup break, like you don't want to find yourself trying to dig yourself out of such a big hole. And so I just felt like there were a lot of missed opportunities, not necessarily saying on the field, but the decisions that weren't made. And I just think at some point you have to just start going for it. And I think fans would have looked at that game feeling much better, knowing that we went for it and lost 3-0, but played exciting, attacking football they just caught us on, than a 1-0 just sitting there. And, you heard a little boo birds at the end of the whistle. And I couldn't think of anything like ref wise or opposing team wise that would, render those boo birds other than, what they saw on the field. So that was my worry as far as how that game went. Like, yeah, I'm with you. Seattle had injuries. They were there for the taking, and we didn't take advantage of it. But I really felt like there were some missed opportunities from a coaching standpoint, just as far as where we could have been more successful, as well as the personnel that maybe could have made us a little bit more successful than, what we saw on the night.
Right. Why we're not going for it down one, like with 30 minutes left, at an injured Seattle team that's not really offering anything in the counter. So to me, at that point, there's no downside in bringing on, if you want to bring on Sangbin, Celio, Cordova, everybody. I didn't like the Teutsch substitution. I thought Teutsch, like you said, was the one person that was really putting pressure on the team, on the defense. Now, he's a little reckless with his dribbling. He has been since he got here, but he's making he's trying to break the defense down, as opposed to your central midfielders who are not capable of it, and your wingers who just refuse to commit. I don't understand. Very questionable. And then yeah, not going for it. Not going to share the points at a team that in this reverse fixture they're going to be healthy.
Right.
Yeah, that's a huge missed opportunity, especially with LAFC, on coming this week. And I hate to say it, but this is the type of game that Critch would have won last year. Like this is the type of game towards the end of the season where Critch was making that. Okay,
That's a great point. Yeah.
I'm gonna run out four up top. I'm gonna go 4-1-4-1 or something. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
3-4-3 or something like that, and throw the kitchen sink at them and share the points.
Yeah.
Like
That's a great
I
point.
hate to compare Demay to Critch, but like Critch understood leveraging risk, especially at home. What's the difference between losing 3-0 and losing 1-0 at that point? Like you're not salvaging anything. So yeah, just disappointing. Like I said, hard to find positives out of this because I don't even really know that Seattle. I think that Seattle would have been happy with a 1-1 draw, to be honest, with the way that
Yeah.
they're playing
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and on the road. I think they'd have been okay with it, and they got to be ecstatic taking all three, like absolutely elated. So
No, it's a great point. And then also, you never want to look ahead or anything like that. You want to just focus on the night at hand. But I mean, why not go for it too, knowing that you're climbing up a mountain next week, going to LAFC, which is one of the hottest teams in the West right now. Like, why not try some things out and just use that game as almost like an experimental. Like, let's see what works. Let's see what positives we can find. And it also just felt like little things here and there. Some like I know he eventually came off bench, but it was just like I felt like he wasn't offering me enough early on to justify staying on as long as he did. He was just not having trouble finding himself in the game, as well as just having to deal with such physical presence with their center backs throughout the night. It just you're just sitting there going kind of almost confused. And the thing I was also noticing as well was the subs looking confused, kind of like looking down, and there just didn't seem any hesitancy to warm up because they just felt like we're not getting it. And there was at one point, if I remember, it was like the 88th minute, the subs started walking back, and then like he sent them back out to warm up. And I'm thinking, even if you do get them back in, I believe it was 6 minutes of extra time. Like we've touched on this many times. Like let your players grow into the game. Like
yeah,
McSorley came in, and his first couple touches were a little off because he's trying to grow into a
yeah,
physical, demanding game where he's also getting swarmed anytime the ball is played into him. And I just felt like it was you got to go for it, especially at home. It's not going to get any easier when you're on the road, and we got a long road stretch here coming up as well. So like, I just would like to see a little bit more guts, I guess.
yep,
Going and like I said, it just felt a little bit too close to familiar with like the past with Olaf ball, and we said all throughout that Olaf, like you can lose, but you got to lose exciting. Like you can't lose and be boring, and it's just feeling a little bit. I know it's very early on, but outside of feeling like a positive on week one, it's really kind of slowed
yep.
down, and then also you're just. I find like this the fans are just asking a lot of questions as like why aren't these people featuring more?
Yeah,
And,
like what is the plan? I think that's more what it is. Is like what do we want this team's identity to be?
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a great question. It seems like such a they always talk about the St. Louis way and everything like that, but what is that? What is it that
Yeah,
it's not it's not that high press that they sold us on. It's not the quick counter. I mean, somewhat counterattacks, but I couldn't tell you what we are looking for because it's not getting in line and this
yeah,
type of stuff. I couldn't tell you what.
yeah. What was the game plan Saturday? What was that? What was the game plan to beat Seattle? Was it to break them down off the pass? Was it to break them down through the middle? Was it to cross a bunch of times? I don't I can't I'm at a loss. Like it just seems very very deep in this rebuild mode, and yeah, not getting better.
And I think to your point as well, I think it also showed a little bit of the difference in experience in this league between Schmetzer and then DeMay.
Oh yeah,
I think what
100%. That's a
is he
man that knows how to
is
win.
Is he now the longest reigning coach in MLS at this point? He's
Since
got to be up
what's
there,
his name
right?
for Kansas City's coach? Yeah, you have
Yeah,
to
he
be.
left. Since then, I have to
Yeah,
feel like he's been at Seattle forever,
probably up there. Yeah,
and again, that just shows that experience within the club as well, knowing,
yeah,
and probably also knowing what your identity is, what your game plan
yeah,
is, and what you're looking to do. So,
yeah.
yeah,
Well,
anything else you want to
D.
add?
No, D is not a fan of the start, and she's made another appearance.
I know.
So she's not a fan of the start at all.
We'll have to, add her into the group chat as far as, setting up these times because she always, every time she comes on like a couple minutes late, she gives you a look like, why didn't you tell me we were starting? She always just looks like we got to get her some headphones too. But like just whether they're plugged into anything or not, I just think it would be, I mean,
That
she's
would be
bringing the
hilarious.
cutest
And like a
background, but
microphone.
that would send it
She
over the top. So
she would probably like if I had a camera that just showed the whole setup, like I could just have her in the corner with her headphones and her little be like a dog bone microphone. That'd be adorable.
and if she's ever
But
upstairs like napping, we'll just put in like a picture of her with her head. Like we have Jeffrey up there.
yes,
It'll just be your corner.
that
It'll be
would
like
be hilarious.
a
That's
D cam or
that's what I
something like
need
that.
right here over my shoulder is a picture
Yeah,
of D.
D
Well,
cam.
she's being rude, and you could probably pick up all her noises that she's making on the microphone. So she's gonna leave now. That's a good transition into
That
the
is a
next
great
segment.
transition. So
Her
yeah,
leaving.
City unfortunately dropped 1-0 at home to Seattle. They will, look to hopefully put out a more inspiring performance Saturday night. Late one, 9:30 kickoff start out at LAFC. I mean, it's almost sad that you're almost you're almost with this game. I know how you feel about the LAFC. You're almost looking forward to seeing LAFC play than you are City out there. It's just going to be like, I mean, that's a team that just like it. They are a team that is the definition I feel of like either live or die by the sword. They go for it, and they may give up, a couple goals here or there, but like they're gonna go for it. That's for sure. So, yep. Again, 9:30 start, late one on Saturday, and we will transition now and try and bring the spirits up because it's kind of been down as far as how we've started the show, and we will get into our South End submissions. There's a couple because we recorded earlier last week that came in later in the day, so I'm going to try and make sure we get to everybody's submission. I also appreciate that you guys did listen and just were shooting submissions all throughout the week. I've tried to keep up and screenshot everyone, so keep them coming because that was great to see all throughout the week and some great ones to look forward to. So one that we missed from last week was from David Thompson. He said New York Red Bulls play their best teenager. He already has a few goals, and they have 2 wins. The MLS teams willing to play their young studs are being rewarded. We have one of the best teen scorers on the planet, an all-time leading scorer in Next Pro, someone who is the guy when on the field. We haven't even played him yet. To get Joyner scoring regularly at this level, he has to play. We have already dragged our feet on his first-team development for 2 years. Don't keep waiting. Play him. Practice. We're talking about practice. Give me game time ballers. And I remember David Thompson was a big Joyner fan last year as well. Yeah, I thought, like I said, that game, any sort of spark, whether it was Joyner coming in, Celio, it was crying out for it, and I felt like it was a missed opportunity. I think Joyner had a brace on the weekend for MLS Next Pro. Another one that Mbaka Fall, I think started and I think played all or majority of the MLS City 2 games. So it's also like, well, where's he fitting into this equation as well? Like, not that I felt like the defense was, truly missing something on the night, but it just is always kind of a head scratcher when the team makes signings and all this type of stuff, and you're like, well, where are they? Why are we not seeing them featured? Yeah, I mean, as far as Joyner, he's obviously shown the talent. He's shown, and I felt like that was a game where what do you have to lose? You could have thrown him a couple minutes as well. I think there's a lot of players that were kind of sitting here going, what is there to lose? You could have thrown them a couple minutes as well, Next, let me see here. We will go to our man Ryan Cath, or excuse me, we would go to our man Andy Sharoni, actually. It just popped away on me here real quick as I'm pulling it back up. As my Sharoni says, another cold game, but had chances. Need to finish to get fans excited. Note, both home games were officially sellouts. Yeah, I mean, that's what's always funny is like you see these big gaps in the stands and that type of stuff, but you always know it's gonna. But I don't think they're announcing it anymore. I mean, maybe they're finally picking up on like the tone in the stadium because I know it was always real awkward when he'd try and get on there and another City Park sellout. And we're like, we're down 3-0. Like, just leave it alone at this point. So
yeah. Let's not
read the room a little bit.
Yeah, it's read the room exactly.
But yeah, I think it'll always be a sellout. And honestly, it was cold. Don't get me wrong, but it wasn't as cold as it obviously could have been. I thought it was colder than what I thought it was going to be. I only went with like a long sleeve and a hoodie. And of course, we talk about it all the time. Our seats just don't really get much of a breeze. But it just seems like in the wintertime, the cold air seems to find us. Not in the 105-degree days where any sort of breeze would be more than welcome. But you get it 30 or below, and that cold air will definitely find us then. So
yeah. And you took your brother, you said?
Yes, he went. And,
shout out
it was
Dave
cool,
Cole.
Getting to take him, and shout out Dave Cole. But it was also funny just how he feels about Chelsea. It doesn't vary when it comes to City. Just not really the most positive Patty when it comes to watching the games with somebody.
He's such a tortured fan. He just can't win for trying, man. That poor guy. He's such. I would be really interested in his opinion of his own teams that he coaches, and if he's like as just bleak and just as just this down on everything all the time. And I can't think you can't be. You can be like that as a fan. You can't be like that as a coach. That would be the ultimate miserable existence. So. And what would he have to be? And what would he have to be sad about with the best girls team in Illinois, like the best program in Southern, the best program in the area? Like, what do you have to be sad about?
Well, if anybody could find something, I feel like it would.
Find
something. Yeah. It was funny being there though, as far as like I always feel like I move in weird ways, like as the game goes along, and I don't realize it, but then I was more like calm on the night, and then I'd see his hands doing these weird hand signals, and I was like, what are you doing?
He's coaching. He's like conducting.
But he would literally, like a symphony conductor, he would with his hands show what the next 4 passes. But he'd be sitting there, and it would just be his own mind. He'd be like, and I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, but yeah. At one point, I did turn to him, and I just he like after like a long period of stretch, and I turned to him and I go, you don't have to be so negative. And he was just like, he goes, I'm just having fun. Like I was just like, all right, man, you're good.
You should have sat with Jake. Him and Jake. God, no, just in general, like Debbie Downers times 2.
God, those two together. It's always funny because I'll pop into the group chat and every once in a while, and those two will be going back and forth, and I'll be like, man, Chelsea must be getting dominated. And then I'll look at them, you'll be winning 3-1. I'm like, what are you guys talking about?
Well, that was what happened Saturday in the game against Wrexham. Like, and to be fair, I was down on it too because it was Wrexham and you're Chelsea, and like, yeah, Wrexham's story is great, and they have a chance to be promoted like 4 seasons in a row. That's great. But they're still Wrexham and you're still Chelsea, and it shouldn't take you extra time and a red card to beat them and an own goal and to beat Wrexham. Like, I don't care if it's at the City Ground or not. Like, yeah, it's just
the problem is though is when I see those texts as a rival fan, it gives me false hope. I'm like, oh good, they're getting dominated. And then I look back and then I pop in and I'm just like, hey, what the hell, man? Like,
and somehow we've wandered all of a sudden into a red versus blue segment. So
I know. Yeah. We'll get out of it now, and we'll go to our buddy Alan Anani. He got one from last week. I'm trying to find it where he chimed in with the cereal. He said, just finished the episode. I have also been on a dry cereal kick for my snacks. My go-to for the past 5 months has been mini wheats and now golden grams. And I want to bring that up because those two were the two that I completely didn't think about that a lot of
Yeah.
people had. Mini wheats,
Yep.
shredded mini wheats was the big one. And I do
Yep.
feel like that is almost one that is almost better dry than it is with
Oh,
milk. I
100%.
mean,
100%.
but I saw a lot of people. I was one where I think Fat Lord came in with that. No, he came in with cinnamon toast crunch. There was
Yeah.
somebody else that had it, and I was just like, oh man, that didn't even pop into my mind. But I'll tell you what, I don't care if it's $8. Magic Spoon, whatever my wife bought the kids, it's high protein cereal, but it is fantastic.
I've heard about
Those
that before. They used to pimp that a lot on like podcasts. Like that used to be
oh
a
did
big
they?
like yeah. Is it that good? Is it as good as advertised?
I truly like I've we've tried they've gotten three. They've gotten like a chocolate Cheerios one. They had like a it's basically like a Lucky Charms tie up and then like a Fruit Loops. And all three of them I would probably put above the actual product. So to me, I mean
Is
I
it
think
like
it's
sucralose
great.
sweetened instead of regular
Check
sugar?
out Magic Spoon. I'm doing my best not to read the ingredients just because I want to keep enjoying it and not
You
feel
know what? That's
dude,
fine.
I'm just looking at that. I'm looking at that I'm like 12 grams of protein. That's all I need to know. So
Ground
I'm
up
sure
baby
there's all sorts of
ducklings.
loses.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
sure there's all
Something like
sorts of
that.
loses in there,
Golden
but it's
grams
just
is a
like I'm just
throwback too. I
doing my
forgot about
best.
golden grams. You know, that's
I
that's
did
a
too.
that's a good
Yeah.
shout. Yeah, the
I
the
would
dry
love them to
cereal,
put
man,
those like
it's a game changer. Like, yeah, absolutely. And the frosted
oh
mini
yeah.
wheats, the for for those of us that are starting to need it more, the fiber in the frosted mini wheats, that's a game changer. That's a game changer.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, that's great. He came in one with this week as well. He said thoughts on City versus Sounders. We were making some decent runs and trying to create chances, but again, we still can't find the back of the net. Every shot on goal seemed like it was straightforward pass with nothing behind it. A lot of people are wondering why we still haven't played Pompeu. I get it because he's more offensively minded and we seem to be playing defensive style, back pass, and then the whole time build up with a slight chance for a run behind. That can only work if the player up top is quick and has excellent first touches. Now, Betcher is quite there with some first touches or hold up plays, but can be quick if when needed. So there could be a possibility of something, but again, we can't seem to finish, and we look like we are trying to play for free kicks and corners. Those two could work, but not if we use the same set piece. Like, what is Santos and Hartle both standing over the corner kick each time it was Hartle taking the shot? Santos did take some set pieces, but never took a corner. Unless you consider the one short one he took, Santos or Hartle should have been at the top of the box each corner waiting for the second ball. Now City 2, on the other hand, win 3-0 versus Minnesota 2 with a second clean sheet and Joyner with a brace. At least I can watch one team win after each loss from City. So first off, I just want to say don't ever make me read that much again. Holy cow, that was such a long one. I was like, did I say that line? Did I not? No, I'm just
He
kidding. No,
doesn't
that
like
was
reading, people. He does
yeah,
not enjoy reading out
no,
loud.
that was
I'm sorry. He does not like enjoy reading out loud. Yes, absolutely.
it brings me back to grade school where you used to count what chapters you were going to read as it was coming up to you, and then you'd be like, all right, cool, I got a short one, and then the teacher would just pull out the move like that was a short one, read another
Keep
one, but
going.
your count was
Yes,
off. You're like,
yes,
no,
yes, yes,
no,
yes.
no.
No, I only hit a short one.
Yeah, that was a great submission. One thing that you did point out that I also found a little bit confusing was the double corner takers on the night. Like, I didn't understand why you want both of your true set piece. And it's a great point. Have one of them at the top of the box or floating
Yeah,
outside the other end for a spillage out. And especially, like, in Hartle's situation. Well, even Santos, he's been known to hit a few. Like, you get some of those bouncing clearances back out, put one back in and, see where the ball may end up. I think that, yeah, that's a good observation that was on the night that I too was just kind of wondering, like, why are those two? Oh, and plus, I feel like if you're going to send two out, typically one of them is a good one-on-one dribbler, and the other one is your crosser in of the ball. Not both of them that you're looking to cross the ball. And I thought that was, yeah, that's a good point that you bring up there.
I read an article recently that was talking about corner kicks, and I think what I read was historically like 80% of corners don't even result in a shot or something like that,
Oh,
and
really?
some like below 5% result in a goal. So
Hmm.
I don't. I understand that you're looking for. Everybody's trying to be the next Arsenal because Arsenal has somehow figured out this formula where they get more chances on goal. It's nothing special. They crowd the box. They crowd the box
Yeah,
and they
they
hold
put
and push
five
and
people
shove
on the
and
goalie.
they make the referee make a decision to stop them from what they're doing. And if they don't stop them because professional referees are so hesitant to make those sort of calls in the box, and to be quite honest, how can you see that if you've got five or six guys wrestling, offensive players wrestling with five or six defensive players? How do you call one foul over the other? So
Right.
everybody, the soccer world thinks that Arsenal's doing all these new things, and they're not. They're just pushing the limits, and everybody always wants to look for some sort of set piece edge. And I feel like I remember last year when Jake and I went to the season ticket holder thing where you got to talk to the coach, or they got to sit
Yeah. Oh,
through the
yeah.
coaches before like a pregame. And the one coach, Alex, the set piece coach, was talking about free kicks. And he said that more chances are created from putting a ball directly into the box than doing the short corner. But now I feel like City does more short corners than ever, and he's still the one who's the
Yeah.
set piece coach. So I don't know,
Right.
man. It's hard to watch. Why have we ever gone away from just pinging a driven ball at the PK spot? Like,
Yep.
put a couple tall guys in there that can jump, clear the first man, clear the near post, and just ping it in there and see what happens. Yeah,
100%. I mean, we could probably count on one hand the amount of times we've gotten Bumgartle on the other end of a, cross into the box.
yeah,
Find that head. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, you should just, wherever he's at, put it there.
Put it in
and
the mixer, man.
yeah, get one on
Get
there.
it in
And
the
then
mixer.
you never know, too. You get a couple people banging for the ball, it ends up falling at the right person's feet, and you put it in the box. But floated,
Yep.
way high crosses up in the
Yeah,
air.
floated is terrible. As soon as you float the ball, the keeper has the advantage.
Yeah. You allow that break. You talk about Arsenal's, style of play. The reason it works is because they ping that ball in there. The goalie doesn't have
Yep.
time to fight through those defenders to get on it.
Exactly.
Float one in there. He has time to break through and get on there.
Yep, exactly.
All right, our man Chris Shudo comes in and he says, we need to pay the roller grill ransom to free Celio. How many times in that second half did a wide player to beat one guy drive inside while in their end? Yeah, I mean, it looked on throughout the night. I guess the question would be, Dave, I'll throw this to you as our roller grill expert on here. If Johan DeMay was asking for a roller grill ransom, what roller grill items would he be demanding in that ransom?
I mean, he's German. Oh no, he's French. Is he French?
French. Yeah, French.
Yeah. So I don't know. If he was German, I would say some tubed meats, but I don't know. I don't know what a Frenchman would prefer off the roller
there
grill.
any,
Maybe some
croiss-
roller grill crepes.
Are there any croissant
No, I've
covered
never seen a roller
grill?
grill. I've never seen. I've never seen a croissant on a roller grill item.
Trying to think of any
Yeah.
maybe some stuffed escargot roller grill in there.
That sounds so
Something like
bad. That
It
sounds so
does.
gross.
They love it.
Some
don't know,
pate, some pate wrapped in one of those one of those twister shells. I don't know. I have no idea. Whatever it is, and listen, whatever it is, we need a goal scorer, as
Yeah.
as our buddy Spursy would say. We need a goal scorer.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope he's doing all right. He's got to be ripping his hair out these first 3
Oh
games.
my
One goal in
gosh,
3
yeah,
games.
he's got bigger issues than City. He's in a relegation battle.
Yeah.
He's got way bigger issues than City. He's fighting for his life.
I saw a funny meme today, though. Speaking of Spursy and West Ham, though, it was something about like early in the season. I get like first game of the season, Spurs won or something like that, and or West Ham was lost, and it showed Spurs and won and Tottenham, Spurs and won, and then West Ham in 20th, and like Tottenham put something out like saying, "Look how good this looks" or something like that, showing those two.
Oh
And
my
somebody was
gosh.
like, this could be the funniest
Yes.
early season tweet ever is if West
Yes.
Ham jumps Spurs in the early
Yes.
season
Oh
battle.
my
Like,
gosh.
it'd be
I
so
think it's
good.
going to happen. I they got Tottenham got annihilated today by
I saw they pulled
Atletico
their keeper at
Madrid.
like 17 minutes or
Yes,
something
they
like
got
that. Like,
absolutely annihilated 5-2, and it was never competitive. I think they're going down. I think that West Ham and Forest are actually like ascending. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, they
Forest is
are.
still playing in Europa. Forest has got a good chance to win Europa, and West Ham are playing better than they have all season. You know what would be hilarious, and it's not going to happen now, obviously, because Tottenham's getting smoked. But like, you could have conceivably had two teams that got relegated, but one would have, if Tottenham would have somehow won Champions League, and then Forest would have won Europa, they would have both had Champions League spots and had been championship teams. Like, what are the odds? What would the astronomical odds be on having two championship teams in the Champions League from England at the same time? Like, I want to see it just for the chaos, but it's not going to happen.
I would too. That would be great. I also told my brother Saturday night, I was like, outside of United, just because they've been on this weird roll all of a sudden, I'm rooting for Wolves every game because if they somehow
Oh yeah,
pull it out, as far as
there's
going from
no chance they pull it out.
no way.
There's
They're
no
so
chance.
far behind and
Yeah.
all that type of stuff. But it just is. It's so funny watching them all of a sudden get on this roll. Their coach is running
Yeah.
down the line like
They have a good
Mourinho
coach
in
now.
prime
Yeah.
Mourinho, just yelling and stuff. It's funny. So I think this guy
Yeah.
is also a Spursy fan, so I feel bad for him as well. It's our road dog here, Matthew Keller. He said, "Morning, y'all.
Okay.
I just want to say it's good to hear y'all again and back on my rotation as I'm driving around doing my deliveries. I switched carriers and will no longer be going through or around St. Louis, but I am now working out of my hometown. I'm still planning on going to some games and already booked for first home weekday matches. Nice. I know he said he was looking into that, and so I'm glad he is. My question for you all as a new soccer fan is this. Can you please explain the numbering system? I get that 1 is the goalie, 9 is the striker, but like 10 seems to be a cam, but not a CM, and 10 plays behind the 9, but not to the side. Thanks, y'all. Glad you're back. I think it just really was starting from the keeper. They just, as far as it, you got to think about old school soccer. It was a traditional 4-4-2, and that just was like the common way that everybody always did it. And I think they just literally took it from the 4 to the, and then the 2 up top, the 9 and the 10. That's the way they looked at it back then. To my knowledge, that is just how it kind of went, was just building out from the back, and just kind of following their way up. And it just kind of went from there. I know you got your outside backs, it's 2 and 3, 4 and 5 center backs, and then so on and so forth. But to me, I think I don't think there was any like real, unless I'm out of the loop as well, like real like rhyme or reason to it. I think it just, back in the day, the traditional way was a 4-4-2, so it was easier to look at, and they just kind of broke it down from there. But I don't know if maybe you know more on that.
No, I
do.
I knew, and I just looked up this article, and quite honest, I've never really thought about it in depth enough. Like, I understand a 6 to be a defensive midfielder. I understand a 9 to be a center forward. I understand a 10 to be an attacking midfielder. I never thought about any of the other positions. I mean, other than the goalie being the 1, which, you know, that makes sense. But so there's an article here, ColumbusUnitedSoccer.com, that talks about the numbers and which positions traditionally they're assigned to. So 1 is the goalkeeper, 2 and 3 are the outside backs, 4 and 5 are the center backs, 6 is the defensive midfielder, 8 is the central midfielder, but not the defensive midfielder, but also not the attacking midfielder. So go figure that one out. 7 and 11 are the attacking wingers, and then the 10 is the attacking center midfielder, and the 9 is the forward. So I don't know how you do that when you play like a double 6. Then then who's the 10 all of a sudden? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I don't know. So it's always been a unique thing and really not been a factor in American soccer. So more of a European thing for sure.
And just to show how much of a factor it is, I was way too late into my soccer following career before I even realized that they were numbered positions. They never did it in my college. They never did it in high school, or they did. I just didn't pay attention. I just looked for my name. And I was just always confused watching the Premier League all the time, and they'd be like, yeah, they need a better 9. I'm like, he's number 11. What are they talking about? He's got guys don't know what they're talking about. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
I was the one who didn't know what I was talking about. So
Yeah.
yeah. So that's I don't think there's like Dave said, not really anything super meaningful behind it. Jerry has a funny one. She says, "What SM social media post were you surprised to find a City player? Me, Timo Baumgartel on Pottery Barn."
That one is hilarious. Like, what?
That's a great one. I I guess I haven't paid enough close attention on that, but now that they have sent that in, that is exactly what I'm going to be looking for on anything. Just trying to see like what you doing like in that one there. Like that's funny though. Pottery Barn. Yeah, that's a great one.
Well, I think the one that the most notorious ones, maybe this is not the most surprised, but maybe like the most notorious or shameless ones are all world goalkeeper and his posts with his, I guess, are they married now? Is it fiance?
I
The
think it's
the
still fiance. Yeah.
the most hated woman in city fandom, possibly. But yeah, like I I hesitate to even say this, but like, good God, man, like, grow a pair, Roman. Like, what the hell? It's just, it's so
Oh,
shameless.
he's a young love.
Yeah, yeah,
You're
he
just
is.
jealous. It's not you. You're just jealous. It's
That he's
Roman.
not posting that about me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're mad that
you
it's
wish that
not
was
you that
me.
he's posting
Hey,
about
I'm ready to
awesome
ship him
trips.
off for a 10 that can actually score goals. Like, I'm ready to do it. Like,
Yeah.
love him, love what he's been able to do, and that he's probably going to finish his professional career here. But between the Instagram and not being able to score goals, I don't know, man. I just don't know.
Yeah, well, from now on, from our SES account, anytime he does post it, I'm gonna be like, "We love this." Just hearts, all this type of
And
stuff.
then I'll
Anytime he
post
puts it
it
out there.
from the 204 goal, just that the peanut emoji, just that one. Yeah, just that one.
Our buddy Jeremy Clements, J Clem and the Clemlins. I think that should be his band name if he ever makes one. J Clem and the
That's
Clemlins.
awesome. Jeremy and the
That should rule.
Clemlins.
Jeremy and the
Yes.
Clemlins. Yes. Sounds like a good old like 80s 70s band. But he
Yeah.
said, and
Yeah.
this is an interesting one. He said, hire one, fire one, and extend one. We've got Melberg, Carnell, and Diego, and I'm assuming he's talking about Gigliani in there as far as Diego goes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, as far as like,
What a gross F Mary Kill variant this is.
I know I love Tom Franklin, Soccer Zombies' response to that. He said,
Yeah.
I don't want to
Yeah.
chug bleach tonight. And it's like,
This this submission was not well received. Yeah.
no, everybody in there's like, no, don't make me do this, all that. Like, yeah, that's like Femni always tortured us with like weird ones. Like,
Yes.
this is J Clem just
Yes.
torturing everybody else. I mean, to extend one, I guess. Like the long term, I'll go Carnell. I just nothing really overly negative. I feel like as far as that goes. A higher one, I'm probably just going to stick with Diego. I just can't see Melberg ever back in this place. Like that,
I like
just,
Matt.
that was
I like Matt Cons. Fire Diego, extend Carnell, hire Melberg to work security. That's the best
yes,
one.
I did see that one. That was the best one. Yeah, I did love that one. Who said that? Because that was great.
Matt Con. Yeah, that's good.
Yes.
That's good
That
stuff.
was a great one. That was a great one. Our buddy Ryan Cadlick's comeback. He said, "Let's do something different this week. Cartoon show battles, but losers would get eliminated forever. Seedings made by random draw, 12 seeds. And then looking at the schedule, we have 12 more games before the World Cup break. I think we go 2-2 and 8 at worst, 1-1 and 10. What do you guys think?" So
2-2-8. Jesus.
So maybe Cadlick's been talking to my brother. He's friends with my brother. That sounds like something my brother would feel out. I'd more be curious to see. Make my judgments as far as like what happens once we get out of this stretch of like the Seattle, the LAFC, the San Diego. Like let's see when we're I feel even though Seattle definitely was a team that we should have took advantage of and like done better with. Let me see where we're at when. Are we still experiencing this with? I don't want to say lesser teams, but teams that we feel like we should be better in a game for. And then that's where it's like, oh God, if we're not getting points here, maybe if like if I don't know when we see them or if we see them, but if we see Montreal and we lose, that's when I'm like, yeah, that 1-1-10 is looking a little bit more appealing at this point. That type of stuff. So as far as that goes, that's where I'll see that. So as far as our options here, I'm going to assume we're going the same way as far as 1 versus 12 and so on. So 1 versus 12, we've got the Flintstones taking on DuckTales. I felt like I was more into DuckTales than I was the Flintstones.
Are they actually fighting?
No. This is just, I'm assuming he said, let's do something different. I don't think this is like a battle.
No, this is not actual combat.
And every other cartoon disappears. Like that was
Gotcha.
on the...
Oh, you gotta go with the Flintstones then, like compared to DuckTales. Like I get that it's very dated, but like, yeah, like talking garbage disposals and
I'll give you
like
that.
like the woolly mammoth is like the shower. Yeah,
I know DuckTales is super high up on other people's list. That one was one that I just casually got into. I didn't like. So we'll go Flintstones.
Yeah.
2, Rugrats taking on Transformers. And there's, at least for my age and my childhood, there should only be one answer on this one.
Yeah, I mean, 90s kids, it's got to be Rugrats. Like if you're an 80s kid, it's Transformers. I get that, but like if you're like a later millennial, like a born in like 84 or later, yeah, that's got to be it.
Rugrats ruled, yeah.
Yeah.
This one here is a tough one. You've got Hey Arnold taking on Ninja Turtles.
Oh, Ninja Turtles. That's not tough. Come on now. Let's
Hey Arnold was up there.
Let's not embarrass ourselves. Hey Arnold was a good show.
Can we at least agree Hey Arnold was every kid's envy of a bedroom as far as like what every kid wanted?
Oh yeah, that attic room with absolutely.
Oh dude.
But it's TMNT.
We've got Johnny Bravo taking on Cat Dog.
Man, I loved Johnny Bravo.
I was gonna say I was more personally a Johnny Bravo fan
than
Cat Dog.
Yeah.
Then we've got Ed, Edd and Eddy taking on the Looney Tunes.
See, I'm a classics fan, so I would go with the Looney Tunes. But I know I probably
watched more Ed, Edd and Eddy, but I think Looney Tunes I probably watch more than I actually give credit to actually watching.
We'll go with Ed, Edd and Eddy then. Don't let me bully you off your answer.
No. Because I'm fine with it. Now, if there was something else that you would say, that I'll tell you that you're going to write down what I want to write down because I'm doing this on this end. But, you're lucky on this one. And then we've got Sesame Street taking on the Jetsons. And if you say the Jetsons, I will.
No, I'm not going to. Come on now.
All right, so we've got the Flintstones then taking on Ninja Turtles.
It's Ninja Turtles. Man, talk about classics.
Yeah, a lot of good ones in here. We've got, we've got Rugrats taking on Looney Tunes.
Oh my God.
Just
I'll let you pick.
My nostalgia. That was, that for me and my brother, that was like up there. Like we each had, I had a Tommy Pickles doll and he had a Chucky doll that when we were younger. Like that was real. So
I'll give you Rugrats. I'll give that to you. But I want to make this point. And my wife laughs at me, just hilarious, like just lambasts me that because of there's classical music that I only know because of Looney Tunes. Like there's a Barber of Seville episode of Bugs Bunny and Elmer Fudd that the only reason that I know that classical piece of music is because of that cartoon. And there are several like that between Bugs Bunny and then I think Tom and Jerry had a couple episodes were like that. Mm-hmm. So I just want to point that out, that like early infusion of culture through Looney Tunes.
Yeah. No. I'm right there with you. To where when I was in music class, I'd always be like, hey, I've heard this before, and then I didn't want to be like, it was, when Roadrunner was chasing, or Wile E. Coyote was chasing Roadrunner. Like, you don't want to be like,
you're so cultured. How do you know that piece of music? Oh, because it was on Looney Tunes.
It was on Looney Tunes. Exactly right. Then we've got Johnny Bravo taking on Sesame Street.
Sesame Street. Come on now.
Sesame Street all the
Yeah.
way. And so, we've got 3 left, so we'll just go a final 3 battle. It looks like we're going to have Ninja Turtles, Rugrats, or Sesame Street. Tough final 3 here.
So
Ninja Turtles, Sesame Street, or Rugrats.
So I'm gonna say that Rugrats has to be out on this one. It has to be.
Okay.
It has to be between TMNT and Sesame Street, and I think just for like cultural significance, it has to be Sesame Street. It has to be. Like, there's nothing that is. There's like Ninja Turtles, huge in the '80s, early '90s, kind of a resurgence a little bit. But like in terms of, and not just pop culture, but like cultural significance. And you think about the actors and athletes and politicians and personalities that have made their way through Sesame Street in the 50, it might be, it goes to the 70s, right? So maybe 50 years on the air. And the number of kids that have like legitimately learned how to read and count and deal with conflict and all these other things through a public television show, it's just iconic. You can't touch it. Like, forget like cartoons of all time. It's like up there with like the Mount Rushmore of like television of all time.
Yeah.
For me. So that's
I mean the topics that they touched on, like some pretty heavy topics. I think they touched on like
absolutely
things like kids going through parents' divorces. Like
Yeah.
they really helped kids. And then like you said, I mean, my kids could go watch Sesame Street and stuff like that, and it was a very your kids all grew up with that show. And like you said, fun fact, the Sesame Street Live apparently came to town, and I was obsessed with Elmo. And apparently, like, it's funny now taking my kids to the shows and seeing like other kids react this way. But I remember I lost it and cried because when Elmo went off stage, I thought he was gone forever. And I was just like, my parents were like trying to explain to me, like, he'll be back. Like, it's fine.
That's the saddest thing I've ever heard.
It's funny because like I go to like these shows now, and like we've been to like Paw Patrol, or we've been to Peppa Pig and all this, and I see other kids like reacting that way, and I'm just like, I get it, buddy. I get it.
Feel your pain, bud.
All right. Like,
feel your pain. They're coming back. It's okay.
It's all right, man. We'll get through this.
It's not forever.
Yeah. Couple more on the docket before we get out tonight. Ayla Play, or our buddy Stephen Pena, said, when will the Celia warm-up kit go on sale? I've seen a couple people put that out.
That was really good. The purple kit. Yeah, that was
like,
good.
What purple jersey is he holding right now? I'd like to see.
Yeah, that was good.
And it's rough right now. Hopefully we start seeing a little bit more feature of Celia, or just a little bit more excitement, pep on that field. Got a couple fitness ones coming our way. First, our buddy John Love came in with one and said, what is your preferred post-workout snack? I'm guessing you played soccer. What was it after practice and games? My current preferred are Uncrustables. So I wish, when I played soccer, I cared about my nutrition and exercise and all that. You met me prior to ever touching a weight. In high school, I used to lie about trying out for the team because if you played varsity, you took sports PE. And if you didn't play varsity or sports, you took regular PE. And all my friends were in the dodgeball regular PE. So I would go to the counselors and I'd be like, I don't think I'm playing this year. And I remember shout out to our
buddy dodgeball.
Yeah, so I could get in dodgeball. And I remember shout out to our friend of the show and your coworker or co-coach Turk. He actually called me into his office one year and he was like, "What the hell is this? I see you're not trying out for the team." And I was just like, "Oh no!" Like a word got back to him that I wasn't.
That's awesome.
Like, "Oh no, I just wanted to sign up for this." And he was like, "Okay," but the reason being was going into freshman year, I thought I was going to play football. I did 1 year of football, and I was just like wanting to try something new. And I took a football camp in the summer before my freshman year, and I remember there was a bench, like bench plates, and there was 3 different benches. There was one that was like very light, medium, and then one that they would add weight on for all the strong dudes and stuff. And everybody was hitting the first bar with like ease. And one kid, like 5 people ahead of me, you got to think I'm coming from a school with like 32 people, so I knew nobody going into high school. and that kid failed, and everybody just, I mean, gave him all sorts of stuff. And I just kept thinking, just don't. All right, just get back to the first bar. Everybody else is kind
Don't
of
be
risky in
that
the
kid.
second bar. And that barbell might have well have had Velcro to my chest. It didn't move. And I was just like, you know what? I'm never working on it from. So that's why I would lie about sports beat. And then in college, the way my college was set up is you go down the stairs and down a long hallway. And at the end of the hallway, there was like a sign-in sheet that had the like the machine rooms, but you would pass the free weight room and the locker room. So I'd go all the way down to the end of the hall. I'd sign my name and I'd just tell them, I'd be like, I'm going to go to the free weight room or I'm going to go to the locker room. I would go grab a burger, come back an hour later and sign my name out. I just was like, I'm never working out in front of people again. Like, and that was the Ecole that you met. Was when I met you, I was, like 100 and something, nothing
That's
pounds.
so
I never
funny.
touched a weight. And it wasn't until I actually was done playing semi-pro is when I started working out. And it's my biggest, especially in college, when you go up against some of those foreign dudes and they're just massive and you've never touched a weight before. And I was uneducated too. So I was always like, I run all the time. My legs must be super strong. No, not in the lightest. So yeah, as far as like when I was playing, definitely avoided all that. But nowadays, I think you put, John Love, the goated, like, one is Uncrustables. Like that, you get your simple sugars, you get your carbs. But the problem for me, and it seems to be a recurring thing that we talk about on the show, I have trouble stopping at one. So it's just like those things go down so easy to me, those Uncrustables. But I don't know. And I think Katie put a post up today that, another good one's bananas, which I think you're going to be on bananas for a little while. Dude, that picture was like, oh my God, man. Like,
Oh, Instacart
like,
hires only the best and brightest.
yeah. I saw that picture and I knew this was coming up and I was like, oh, that's fantastic as far as
So
that.
the story is that she went to order 8 bananas, and the Instacart shopper gave us 8 bunches of bananas. So now we have at or around 50 bananas in our house. It's a lot. It's a lot of bananas. Like,
It's so good.
and I can probably knock out 2 or 3 a day, but that's still that's 2 weeks worth of bananas.
You guys are gonna get to a point. I think it was that '70s show. I think the mom won like free hot dog, like a year supply of hot dogs.
Yes.
And she was like
Yes.
trying to make every meal with
Couldn't
hot
get
dogs, and they're
hot
like,
dogs
"Dude, I
away."
don't want hot
Yes.
dogs." That's gonna be you guys with bananas. But another thing I think it depends on as well is like, are you cutting? Are you bulking?
Yeah.
'Cause I remember when I was bulking, my bodybuilding coach that I had when I was doing a show was like bagels. Like, and I was just like, oh man, when you look at a bagel, it's like 60 grams of carbs. I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah.
One of my favorites, again, it's tough to like kind of control yourself, is like Sour Patch Kids or some sort of like,
Oh my God.
Haribo,
Yeah.
Haribo gummy bear company. They make it with like a certain ingredient, that goes in the bloodstream really well. So, but I've seen from a lot of people, one of their favorites is the Uncrustables. But again, that's just you're walking, you're kind of playing with fire a little bit when it comes to like those.
Yeah.
Please tell me you're a strawberry Uncrustable or PBJ guy.
I don't eat Uncrustables. I'll eat regular peanut butter and jelly. Yeah.
PBJ guy. Are you?
Yeah.
You're a strawberry, right? Not a grape.
No, that's sacrilege. Grape.
There we go. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then Tom Franklin, Soccer Zombie, said best protein powder and supplements so that RSR can be swole like Eric Cole. I mean, I take like, obviously like whole food is always going to be your best option in there. I know that's not like, if you're like me, and that's just not always the easiest option. Protein powder. I take Jocko Wilnick's protein powder just because, and the big reason I'm going to stress this, find something that works with your digestive system well. So many different proteins can react in different ways, whether you have whey protein, casein, egg, milk, there's so many different things. So I would say, just find one that you find works good with you. I know First Form has a really good one as well. It's a little bit more on the expensive side. And then a lot of my other supplements just involve like joint pain because I, again, just did not still don't fully take care of my body as far as all that type of stuff goes. So
Was that stuff that you used to get from me? Was that First Form whey? I think it was.
Stuff it was it used to be Powered Up Nutrition. It was a sponsor of
Yeah.
mine at the time, and they're unfortunately not around anymore. But I think their sister company, Genetidine, out in Belleville. I can't remember the supplement store. It's there, like it's the
I
same
mean,
basic stuff.
I'm
I
not
think
a
that's
I'm not a heavy supplement user, but that was easy on my stomach, and they had the cookies and cream. That was a good taste. Good. It was good. It wasn't like you were. It was enjoyable, and it
yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
like too
yeah.
high in sugar and whatnot. So something simple like that seems to me like it would make sense for most people.
And I tell you what would be great for you now is throw a little protein powder in there with a couple bananas and make yourself a smoothie, and start wiping those things out a little quicker that way.
I
We've
don't
got
want to. I don't want to dilute the taste of banana.
that's just so funny to me. We've got a couple more before we head out. We've got Fetlor Colton saying, "What is your favorite diet, cheat day food, or place to eat?" I don't know if those words go together. Diet, cheat day food. I'm assuming like if you're on a diet and you get a cheat day, what is it?
Yeah,
Ooh.
man.
I'm one of those people where it depends on the week. Like some weeks
Yeah.
I'll want like a big old Five Guys burger, and then other weeks I'll want some taco. I think it just depends on the mood. Some
Yeah.
big old slices
It's
of pizza.
probably Mexican food.
Mexican food for you.
Honestly, yeah, something probably a chimichanga from somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, Mexican food is probably my number one favorite, so I'm always down for that type
Yeah.
of stuff. So I would say it depends on the week, but that's most likely going to be my shout is some
Yeah.
sort of tacos or Mexican food. And then we'll finish up tonight. No Goal Patrol has a two-part one, coming with some great ones here. As first one was, as a kid, what was your favorite object to use as a sword? Mine was a wooden yardstick. A lot of great options as far as when you're a kid, what you could imagine. Nothing was better, though, if you walked out in the woods with your buddy and you just found that one stick that just, like,
Yes.
you were like, oh, check this one out. And it just happened to be, obviously you got the I'm looking at them now, the Christmas paper, like, empty wrapping rolls. Those were always
Yeah.
solid. Unfortunately for my brother, one that we had was we had those like mini Fisher Price golf clubs, and we used to play indoor hockey with those things.
Beat
yeah,
my
like,
brother. Is that what you used to
and
play?
then it just, I mean, we should have put our soccer shin guards on as the game got on, because it was always like fun and friendly until somebody accidentally caught the other one's shins, and you
Yeah.
just see them be like, it was an accident, and it was too late for that one. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it was
yardsticks, I didn't
always.
have a yardstick.
No, I can't. Man, I don't really remember having that. Like, I know that where I grew up was next to kind of like there was a lake and a lot of like hot, tall grass around it, and we used to try to find like a stick to like make our paths back through it. But I don't ever remember. And that, like you said, that was like you got to find like the best, like most
Yeah.
stout like branch. But yeah, I don't ever remember having a particular like go-to sword.
No, I mean, if it was over 2.5 feet long, and
What was always really effective were the Hot Wheels, those rubber track things. Like
yeah,
it worked a lot better as like a caning tool as opposed to a sword. Like you could really mark some people up with that thing. Like, yeah, that was always strong.
yeah, that wouldn't mess people up, man.
Yeah.
And then the last one we'll finish on tonight, the great one. Similar to cereal boxes when we were kids, what adult food do you wish came with fun prizes? I mean, that's a great one. So many options out there.
A fifth of whiskey. Does that? I don't know what would come with it, but yeah,
I don't
a
know,
12 pack.
I think it would also be funny if that fifth of whiskey, like, it was like a mystery bot. Like, you didn't know if they had a prize or not. You just had to take shots down.
Well,
And then they're like,
well, then a
"Oh, yes."
bottle of tequila, you get the worm at the bottom. That's the mystery surprise.
That's an unfortunate mystery surprise. Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like
yeah.
for you, it would be fun, just like roller grill. Just like one day you're just taking a bite and you're like, oh yes. Like,
Well, see, okay, so I love this question because it makes me pose another question. Why have we not why have our cereal boxes not have evolved and turned into like having adult prizes in our regular cereal boxes, like actually something useful, like, hey, you got a
Gas
box of
card.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Yeah, here's a $25 gas card. Here's a ratchet set in your box of honeycomb that can help you do, your job at work. Hey, here's a shaving kit that came in your Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Enjoy that, grown up,
I
that
also,
while you can also eat your cereal.
or if you're getting into like the high fibers of the brand cereal, a coupon code for some Depends and like that type of thing. You base it off of like what sort of cereal you're rocking with there, and like base it off of that. I would love to see like gas card or I don't know any sort of like maybe that's what city should do to get the people back into it is just like mystery. I don't know maybe in the new Detroit style food you bite in there and you can find yourself like a little like voucher for the city store and
Oh, good. So I just
type.
eat right through my voucher because I'm so hungry.
That would be
Just
a
go
problem.
right through.
We would end up winning, and we'd just be like, yeah, that pizza had a weird aftertaste.
And a bunch of
Oh,
people
you ate-
going to the ERs in the St. Louis area because they've ingested credit cards and vouchers because they're so hungry at these soccer games. Yeah.
That would be fun.
Good question, though. I like it.
Maybe I'll just start stuffing them in my kids' food and just being like, oh, you want a prize? What is it? Oh, 5 minutes of silence. Oh, nice. 5 minutes of silence. That's a cool one. You want that? You can cash it in now if you want.
Yeah. Those expire really fast, though. That's the problem.
Oh boy, do they ever! Yeah, that would be my luck too. Is I would get one with an expiration date. My kid knows dates now, so that would be awesome.
You have to use within the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. Great amount of submissions. Again, I hope we got to everyone that we either missed last week or all the ones that came in this week. We truly do appreciate them. That was a lot of fun. Helped bring up the episode from the start.
For sure.
And so great to end on a lot of good ones. Again, like we said last week, we'll always try to put out a submission post. But if anything ever pops in your head, like that one there, I think Kyle actually sent in like a little later. Send them our way. It's a lot of fun, and it's gonna have me go upstairs now and for some reason checking my food, hoping that there's prizes in there as we go along. But yeah, keep them coming in, and make sure you're following us as well. And that's where you can send those in is to all our socials. On Instagram, we're South End Supporters. On Twitter and Reddit, it's _podcast STL. You can also send them to our Facebook page or our YouTube as well. And also, you'll be able to keep up with all things South End Supporters. So, for myself, Eric Cole, for the Monday Morning Center back, Dave Wyckoff, you've been listening to South End Supporters. And until next week, let's go City.